Are organic products always better? The truth about benefits and marketing. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, while standing in the middle of a brightly lit supermarket, that an ordinary red apple seems almost dangerous to you? You look at it, and frightening headlines about pesticides, nitrates, and invisible chemistry that supposedly slowly destroys our bodies pop into your head. Right next to it lies the exact same apple, but on its side sits a neat green sticker with the word organic, while the price is exactly twice as high. At that moment, a little anxious woman wakes up inside each of us, wanting only the best, the purest, and the safest for her family. We reach for the expensive product, pay this unspoken tax for peace of mind, and go home with a sense of duty fulfilled. But what if I told you that behind this beautiful green leaf on the packaging lies one of the most successful marketing stories of our century? Today, I want to talk to you frankly, woman to woman, about whether our faith in organics is worth the money we leave at the checkout. We are used to trusting brands that promise us a return to our roots in the purity of nature, but the reality turns out to be much more complex and mundane. Let us start with the fact that the word organic itself has long become a synonym for the word healthy in our minds, although this is far from always the case. When we see that coveted icon, our brain helpfully paints a picture of a small farm where a happy old man in a straw hat carefully harvests the crop by hand. In reality, modern organic production is a massive industry involving billions of dollars, and the rules of the game here are set not by romantics, but by tough businessmen. The first and most important misconception is that organic products are supposedly grown without the use of any fertilizers or plant protection products at all. This is simply physically impossible on the scale necessary to provide food for millions of people in megacities. Farmers who hold an organic production certificate indeed do not use synthetic pesticides, but they have every right to use so-called natural poisons. The problem is that the prefix natural does not mean safe for humans or the environment at all. Some natural pesticides, such as copper sulfate or rotenone, can be even more toxic to soil and aquatic organisms than their modern synthetic counterparts. We buy the illusion of absolute purity, but in fact, we're simply swapping some substances for others, and the effectiveness of the latter is often lower, which means they have to be used in much larger quantities. I often remember how my grandmother grew tomatoes in her small garden, and they were crooked, sometimes with spots, but their taste was impossible to forget. We subconsciously look for that very taste of childhood in store-bought organic vegetables, hoping that the high price guarantees us gastronomic pleasure. However, numerous blind tests conducted in different countries around the world show surprising results. Most people cannot tell the difference in taste between an organic tomato and a regular one if they were both picked at the same stage of ripeness. The taste of a product depends not on the presence of a certificate, but on the variety, soil composition, number of sunny days, and how long the vegetable or fruit traveled to your table. An organic apple that was transported across the ocean for 3 weeks will be less tasty and healthy than a regular apple from a neighboring region picked yesterday. We pay for logistics and a pretty piece of paper, forgetting that freshness is always more important than any labeling. Another important aspect that makes us reach for organics is the belief in their exceptional nutritional value. It seems to us that such a product has 10 times more vitamins and minerals than mass-produced products. Scientists from Stanford University conducted a large-scale analysis of more than 200 studies comparing the nutrient content in organic and conventional products. The results were sobering for many healthy lifestyle fans. No significant difference in vitamin content was found, with the exception, perhaps, of a slightly higher level of phosphorus in organics, which is already present in abundance in the diet of a modern person. The only real advantage confirmed by research is a slightly higher concentration of antioxidants in some types of organic berries and vegetables. But is this difference of 5 or 10% worth paying double or triple? Especially if your family budget is not infinite. We live in an era where motherhood has turned into an endless marathon of guilt and anxiety. Marketers know perfectly well which strings of our soul to pull to get us to open our wallets. They do not just sell us food, they sell us the status of a good mother who cares about her children's health. When organic is written on a package of baby puree, we feel relief, as if it were a magic shield that will protect our child from all the diseases of the world. But the truth is that quality standards for regular baby food are already extremely high and strictly controlled by the state. By buying expensive organics, we are often just buying ourselves temporary relief from the guilt that was imposed on us through social media and advertising. I have seen so many women who save on their own rest or high-quality shoes just to fill the refrigerator with products with green stickers, and my heart aches from this injustice. Let us face the truth and admit that organic marketing often uses intimidation tactics. We are told about the dangers of GMOs, although not a single serious scientific study has confirmed the danger of genetically modified products for humans. On the contrary, such technologies allow for the cultivation of plants resistant to pests, which actually helps reduce the use of those very pesticides. But the word GMO sounds scary, while the word organic sounds gentle and reliable. This is a classic manipulation of our basic survival instincts. We fear an invisible threat and are ready to pay for salvation, even if the threat is greatly exaggerated. Remember how many times you have read articles about the dirty dozen vegetables and fruits that supposedly cannot be eaten in their regular form? This list is published annually by organizations that are directly or indirectly funded by the organic food industry. This creates an ideal environment for sales growth because fear is the best driver of trade. It is interesting to observe how our perception of a product changes depending on the label. Psychologists call this the halo effect. If a person sees the word organic on a package of cookies or chips, they subconsciously consider them lower in calories and healthier. As a result, we eat more unhealthy food, justifying ourselves by the fact that it is natural. But organic sugar is still the same sugar that leads to diabetes and excess weight, and organic palm oil contains as many saturated fats as regular oil. We fall into the trap of self-deception, believing that the prefix bio makes a product dietary. This is a huge victory for marketers and a serious problem for our health because we stop monitoring the composition and calorie content, blinded by the green color of the packaging. If we truly want to care for the environment, then organic farming is also not an unambiguous salvation. Due to lower yields, producing the same amount of organic wheat or potatoes requires much more land. This means cutting down forests and destroying natural ecosystems for new fields. In addition, organic livestock farming often requires more time to raise animals, which increases methane emissions into the atmosphere. It turns out to be a paradox. By striving to save the planet through the purchase of organics, we may indirectly contribute to global warming. The world is not divided in black and white, and there are no simple solutions in agricultural matters. Modern intensive farming is constantly improving, becoming more precise and eco-friendly, using drones and artificial intelligence for targeted fertilizer application. I am by no means calling for you to completely give up organic products if you like them and can afford them, but I call you to awareness and calm. If there is no organic spinach in your store, buy the regular kind, wash it thoroughly under running water, and it will bring you great benefit. Remember that the total amount of vegetables and fruits in your diet is much more important than their origin. It is better to eat 5 regular apples a week than 1 organic one that you could afford. Our health is made up of many factors: sleep, movement, lack of stress, and the ability to enjoy life. Constant anxiety over the composition of every piece of food brings much more harm to the body than trace amounts of pesticides, which our body is quite capable of eliminating on its own. In conclusion, I want to tell you something very personal. Being a woman in the modern world is already a huge task. We bear the responsibility for comfort, for raising children, for the atmosphere in the home, and for what lies on the plates of our loved ones. Please do not let marketing giants impose new reasons for self-flagellation on you. Your love for your family is not measured by the amount of money spent on farm products. You are a wonderful mother and a great homemaker, even if you buy regular carrots at the chain store near your house. The true benefit of food begins with the love with which it is prepared and the smile with which you sit down at the table. Let your choice be dictated by common sense and your inner sense of comfort, rather than fears carefully cultivated by advertising campaigns. We have the right to know the truth and the right to choose what suits us specifically, without looking back at others' expectations and fashion trends. Take care of yourself, listen to your heart, and remember that the most important things in life have no price tags or quality certificates at all.